can already smell the chaos in the comment section. All right, here we are, part 2, plot leaks versus the story trailer. I originally did a plot leak versus plot details for the gameplay reveal that happened at the PlayStation Showcase, because when I watched the gameplay reveal, I was like, okay, well, some of this, does seem to add up, but we don't have enough details yet. But now with the new story trailer, we have so many details to go over to see if this plot leak is really accurate or not. And obviously, if you haven't been able to tell, I made a part 1 to this video because if I was to make this into one video, it would be super long. And sorry for possibly making you guys wait for part 2 depending on when this gets uploaded. I should have uploaded part 1 yesterday though, so likely this is going to come out the day after part 1 comes out, but we'll see. Either way, the wait was worth it in my opinion. There's a lot to talk about. There's so many fucking things to talk about regarding this plot leak and the story trailer, guys. Like there's a lot. I swear I did not make this 2 parts for like no reason. But with that, if you missed part 1, go check that out, come back to this video. And finally, before we get into the nitty gritty, I gotta do this just in case, but obviously if you do not want the story spoiled for you for Marvel Spider-Man 2, potentially, you probably don't want to watch this video. But if you're like me, the way I think about it is this is interesting to talk about because it could be real, it could be fake, all of it could be fake, all of it could be real, some of it could be fake, some of it could be real, we don't know. But then when I actually play it personally, I don't really feel spoiled. I feel like, oh shit, that was true or that wasn't true, that's cool, that sucks, etc. But either way, yeah, last warning, if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch one of my other videos I uploaded. Actually, go check out Web of Shadows part 5, almost done with that playthrough, then on to Marvel Spider-Man PS4. But yeah, check that out, top right hand corner if you haven't already. Anyway, yeah, let's get on with this. You've been warned. Alright, so let's just do a quick recap for those who watched part 1 already and maybe don't remember everything that we have gathered so far for Act 1 and Act 2. So Act 1 seems to likely be Wraith, possibly Mr. Negative for villains. Mr. Negative could possibly carry into Act 2, but there's no evidence of that just yet. That's just speculation on my part. Hell, maybe he could even be in Act 3, but we'll get to that later. Harry comes home from Europe, quote unquote, and Peter and Harry talk. Pete, MJ, Miles, Genki, Harry meet up at Coney Island at some point. This is likely where Peter gets the symbiote, I would assume at least. I think it's the most likely place for it to happen, but we'll see. Wraith maybe causes havoc at the prison or something, or Rikers, and that's speculation on my part. Mr. Negative maybe gets free or something, again, speculation, we'll see. But we do know that Miles and Mr. Negative are going to have some sort of storyline going on in the game, so I feel like it's not too far-fetched, you know what I mean? But Pete tells Miles let him handle the whole Wraith situation because Pete has that personal connection to Yuri. So Miles goes off, does his thing. Peter defeats Wraith on his own with the symbiote. Now Act 2, and the order of this could be wrong, maybe, but assumingly, Lizard likely happens first, because the way I see it is Peter is already trying to get Connors to help Harry, and maybe Pete doesn't know Harry needs the symbiote, or maybe he does and doesn't want to give it up, who knows, we'll see on that part. Then Norman hires Craven to take down the Spider-Man, but Craven can't, goes rogue, maybe starts hunting Lizard instead just because, or maybe to get back at all 3 of them, the Spider-Man and Norman. That's my theory, because Lizard means something to all 3 of these characters, so maybe that's how Craven goes rogue, but again, that's my theory, we'll see. Assumingly, eventually they fix Connor's Lizard problem, then Pete tries to take down Craven, or does, and Miles probably stops Pete from doing something he would have regretted. Again, speculation on my part, we'll see. Assumingly, that will probably lead to some sort of fight between them. Then they go to get rid of the suit from Peter at the bell tower, and Craven escapes. So that's how the story seems to be going so far, and I got that from a mix of the plot leak and just kind of trying to put context clues together and speculation. Now here is where shit gets fucking messy, and there's so many things going on. Starting here to the end is where everything is very questionable, and it just makes you think, okay, well, I don't know, man, I don't know what to think anymore now as far as Venom and just the whole ending of the game apparently, or whatever, but also this ending is just crazy. What, bro? All right, so let's just jump back into the plot leak. So the rumor says that the suit bonds with Eddie Brock. What? This is you guys right now. It says Eddie is a recurring playable character in the game with MJ, stealth sections, but without the stealth, more action, more puzzles, and as well photography stuff. So let me just reiterate, clear that up. So Eddie is apparently a reoccurring playable character that has missions similar to the MJ sections from Spider-Man PS4, but they don't have stealth. They're more action, puzzles, and photography. Apparently, during one of these playable sections, as Eddie Brock in the game, Black Suit Spider-Man gets into a fight with Eddie and messes him up, quote unquote, which makes Eddie hate Peter, who he already has a bad history with. So there's more to go over, but let's just stop there for a second and, dissect this and really go over everything that's possible, okay? So first, let's talk about people's theories. Kraven has been Venom in the comics, but Insomniac has said they're doing something that's original and never been done before. Let's keep that in mind when we go over all of these possibilities, okay? Like I said, Kraven's been done before as Venom. People think Norman Osborn will be Venom, which, by the way, dumb idea in my opinion. Save him for Green Goblin, and apparently this has also been done before, but I never seen it. I do know he was Carnage at one point, so the concept has been done before of Norman in a symbiote, but I don't personally know about him being Venom specifically. So either way, that concept has been done before. Next up, Scorpion. This has been done before and is actually one of the more popular hosts of Venom, I would say, at least, other than Eddie Brock, of course. But I also feel like it's just very unlikely, but I guess would be cool to see maybe for like the one time for like a little bit. Like, I don't think he should be like the permanent Venom or anything. Next one, Flash Thompson. He did become Agent Venom, but that doesn't necessarily count to this, I feel like, because we're talking about just regular Venom. So unlikely, and from my knowledge, I don't even know if we have had a tease to Flash Thompson in the Insomniac universe. Not gonna lie, I could be wrong on that though, but I don't know if we've ever seen anything that hints to Flash Thompson, but assumingly he does exist in the universe. Next up, Lee Price. He has also been Venom before, and actually Insomniac's Venom design does kind of reminisce of Lee Price's Venom, but it's been done before. And again, they're apparently doing something original. And the reason I'm emphasizing they said they're doing something original and, listed the possibilities that everybody else is thinking, oh, it's this person, he's been Venom, it could be him. Okay, but how could it be Lee Price or Kraven or Norman, whoever, if that's been done before? But they're Venom is original. I think this is just something they said to just keep everybody guessing, but to be honest, I really just don't believe them. I think they're lying out of their fucking ass, but let's just move on, okay? Now, Harry. Let's talk about Harry being Venom, then we can talk about Eddie, because a lot of this actually does have to do with Eddie Brock, I think, at least. So let's start off with Harry has been Venom before, so that's not an original idea. He was Venom in the Ultimate cartoon, and that adaptation of Venom sucked, okay? Obviously, they have heavily teased Venom will be Harry with the post-credit scenes of Spider-Man PS4 and as well Miles Morales. With that, we also have the story trailer where Harry says in the beginning of it, just plain old Harry, in the beginning he said, "We're gonna heal the world," and then Venom at the end of the trailer says, "We're gonna heal the world." Other than that, we really don't have any indications of Harry becoming Venom, to my knowledge, other than the 3 I just listed. If there's more, comment them down below, but I don't know any others. So now I'm going to give one theory. I'll play devil's advocate, which I just came up with on the spot while recording this, actually, and I guess I wouldn't necessarily mind if this is the route they went with Harry. I think maybe there could be a few narratives to Harry hating Peter and becoming Venom. So one could be Norman treats Peter like the son he never had. That could be one, and is one that's sort of commonly used, but I think it's fine and kind of already has played out in Spider-Man PS4 a little bit, seemingly anyway, in a couple of cutscenes in that game. Also as well, Harry, assumingly anyway, that we know of, does not know Peter is Spider-Man, and if Harry gets the symbiote back after Pete gets rid of it, Harry will, assumingly know all the knowledge the symbiote has gained since it last left Harry, because it was confirmed in the trailer, seemingly confirmed anyway, that the symbiote crash landed from outer space, which makes it likely the symbiote is actually an alien species and not man-made with science. And I don't know specifically about the ultimate Venom symbiote, but the alien version of Venom does have like a hive mind, but can also like share memories with its host and information, because it has a mind of its own. But here's my theory. My theory is that what if Harry finds out Pete is Spider-Man, and then as well at the same time kind of realizes, he had the symbiote the whole time while Harry was dying and didn't want to give up on the symbiote. And then on top of that, he just shunned the symbiote away and maybe tried to destroy one of the only ways Harry could survive. And, maybe he could think to himself, how could my own best friend betray me like that? That could be the only possible good narrative, I think, at least. And like the only way I could maybe like Harry as Venom, but it really, really depends how it's done. Like, it has to hit perfect, otherwise like it's just not gonna hit. With that, I really don't think there's anything else tying Harry to actually becoming Venom, in my opinion. There is the one thing where Brian Intihar was asked if Venom is Harry or Eddie Brock, and he did say not Eddie Brock, which, speaking of Eddie Brock, let's talk about him now. Okay, so Eddie Brock. Let's point out why I personally think Eddie Brock will become Venom and not Harry. And you know, this is my opinion. You can have your own opinion in the comments below. So let's take it back to Spider-Man PS4, right? Memory lane. When they were marketing it, they didn't reveal Doc Ock until the game came out, right? Okay, right? You following? This is the first time we've seen this Doc Ock, right? But yet they made the story pretty emotionally impactful between Pete and Doc Ock. And it's crazy how like they still surprised us with a character like Doc Ock. We've seen this guy before and the story between Pete and Otto before, but not in this specific kind of way. So it was sort of new and cool, but they also built a great relationship between them, which made us care by the end of the game, right? And now you're probably asking, what does this have to do with Eddie Brock being Venom? All right, well, let me answer your question with a question. How could Insomniac surprise us with Venom while still being faithful to the character and its DNA? Because remember, Insomniac cares about what makes these characters. They care about what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. They care about what makes Doc Ock. They care about what makes Venom Venom. Spider-Man, or Peter anyway, to be more specific, wouldn't be Spider-Man if he wasn't Peter. Obviously there's other Spider people, but like the OG Spider-Man would not be Spider-Man if it wasn't Peter Parker. Okay, essentially like Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Spider-Man. Basically like the human behind the mask or behind the persona makes the character is what I'm trying to say. So with that, Eddie Brock makes Venom. Now again, how could they surprise us with Eddie Brock as Venom? Literally by doing everything they have done up until this point. And let me reiterate the main things I think are tied to them trying to distract us or mislead us to Harry being Venom when it could actually be Eddie Brock this whole time. So Venom was initially revealed in the 2021 trailer, of course, and for the longest people wondered, will it be Harry because, you know, he had the symbiote in the post-credit scenes, or, you know, will it be Eddie? And people thought, well, how could it be Eddie when we never seen him before? He has no setup, and one of those are wrong actually. So we haven't seen him before, so how could they make it a good impactful story? We just talked about how they surprised us with Doc Ock, a character we've seen before in general Spider-Man media, but not yet in this universe. Point in case, or case in point, however they say it, as far as how it could be a good story if we never seen this Eddie before. So with that, it's totally possible. They just have to do it right. Now the part people are wrong about is he does have setup, perfect setup actually so far. In the first game, we get a collectible that's a leave card for the Daily Bugle and for Peter, and Eddie signed it saying great working with you. Okay, and it's also been established that Eddie worked for the Bugle in Spider-Man PS4 and Mary Jane works at the Bugle. Keep that in the back of your head. In the Miles Morales game, there's an article that says photos by Eddie Brock, and again, keep in mind Marvel Spider-Man 2 takes place 9 to 10 months after Miles Morales. And as well, we just had the prequel comic, which is canon for Marvel Spider-Man 2. In that comic, it's confirmed Jameson is taking back the Daily Bugle and going to be working there again, and I think he sold his podcast. So that means likely Eddie Brock will be in Marvel Spider-Man 2 because MJ works at the Bugle, Jameson just bought it back or is running it again. MJ is one of the main characters, she's a main part of the story, especially this story. And Eddie is usually involved with the symbiote and, you know, the Daily Bugle, and he's still working there as of Miles Morales. Okay, right, so Eddie is perfectly set up so far to be in the game. Obviously, they aren't going to market him because that would spoil the surprise of who's Venom. And again, the whole surprise in Spider-Man PS4 is who's the sixth member of the Sinister Six, which obviously now we know was Doc Ock. I think the surprise of this game is who's Venom. And they've done so much to try and keep Eddie being Venom a surprise, and you may ask, well, how? They literally said Venom is an Eddie, which by the way, that happened right after this plot leak came out, and guys, this leak got removed so fast, I'm telling you. I think they deconfirmed Eddie as Venom to like debunk this plot leak, but that's just me. It literally happened right after they took the post down. Like they took the plot leak post down and then the event happened. I forgot what event it was, but the event happened and they went on stage and deconfirmed Eddie as Venom. Now the thing is, they keep teasing it's Harry, but with that, why wouldn't they just come out and say Harry is Venom? People think it's so painfully obvious that Harry is Venom, but if Harry was Venom, why wouldn't they just say it? Now you may be thinking, well, obviously they don't want to say it because the surprise is who's Venom. That's the thing though, that's my point, gang, you feel me? They want to surprise us with who's Venom. Okay, right? Hear me out now. If it wasn't Harry, it wouldn't be a surprise because they have marketed him as Venom seemingly so far as the story trailer goes and the post-credit scenes and all that stuff. Right now, right? The real surprise at this point though would be Eddie Brock being Venom because they're making everyone believe it's Harry and they even deconfirmed it being Eddie. So now with all that being said, I have two questions for you guys, and these and your answers to these two questions will put everything I just explained It'll make it so simple. When you play Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the first time, during the story, if you found out Venom was actually Eddie, would you be surprised? Yes or no? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about your answer, okay? Okay, now when you play Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the first time, during the story, if you found out Venom was actually Harry, would you be surprised? I'll give you a second to think about your answer. If you said yes, you would be surprised to Eddie and not surprised to Harry, exactly my point. Does that make sense? Like, am I just crazy? I don't think so personally. Now let's get back to the leak. So it did mention that the MJ missions will be replaced with Eddie Brock missions and more action, puzzles, photography, etc. Now, with that being said, in an interview Insomniac did with someone, and I don't recall who did the interview with them right now, but I know for a fact I made a video on it. It came out after the gameplay reveal, and you'll know why in a minute. In that interview, someone asked Insomniac, will there be MJ stealth missions in the game or something along those lines regarding that in Marvel Spider-Man 2, right? And someone at Insomniac replied saying, let's focus on the gameplay reveal. Why would they say that? Why wouldn't they just confirm, oh yeah, there's no MJ stealth missions? Because Insomniac knows most people did not like those missions. Why wouldn't they just tell us that? One of two reasons. Maybe because they have them again, but I kind of doubt that. The second reason could be maybe, just maybe, because that part about playing as Eddie Brock and him becoming Venom are true. So they want to avoid that for the surprise of Eddie as Venom. Okay, I said it. I went there. Okay, for real though, let's go back to the leak. Damn, this video is gonna be long. I'm probably gonna have to make a part 2 as I'm recording this anyway. But okay, so oh yeah, the part about Symbiote Spider-Man getting into it with Eddie during one of these missions, that could be cool. Also, from here on out, I don't think we have anything in the story trailer specifically that suggests any of the following may be true as far as this plot leak, but I think parts of it could actually work. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Apparently, Kraven starts to hunt Venom thinking it's Spider-Man, and I think that's a cool concept sort of, but this leads to Venom killing Kraven, apparently biting his head off, and if that's true, that is crazy, but kind of cool, not gonna lie. But after that, Venom kidnaps Mary Jane, and if it's Eddie, this would be too easy. Bro works with her. You can catch her lacking at work. You feel me? But you know, just saying, just throwing ideas out there. But that forces Miles and Pete to go rescue her. During this, apparently Norman gaslights Harry into becoming Green Goblin, and the final showdown is Peter and Miles fighting Venom and Green Goblin. So if this is true, Venom is Eddie and Green Goblin is Harry, and I think this could be an interesting dynamic and actually top the last game. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe Harry could become Hobgoblin. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. I know there's a cartoon that did that, but that cartoon sucks, which sucks because that show had some cool concepts, just didn't really execute them well. It's probably 2017 Spider-Man, but I don't remember in this moment. But getting back on topic, the story between Eddie and Peter could be done right, but the thing is, what about Harry and Pete? What could the story be there? I feel like maybe something happens between Harry, Norman, and Peter. Maybe Norman finds out Peter is Spider-Man. Harry now knows, and again, since they know he's Spider-Man, they know Spider-Man had the symbiote at one point, assumingly. So maybe Norman is like, bro, your best friend has been lying to you for years, and on top of it took your only chance of survival, aka the symbiote. So maybe that's what that could be and why he turned into the Goblin, maybe. I don't know. But there is also another theory I want to throw out there. You know how in Raimi's Spider-Man 3, Venom asked Sandman for help to defeat Spider-Man? Maybe they could pull inspiration from that, and Venom knows of Harry and stuff like that, and would maybe think Harry could help get revenge on Spider-Man or whatever. But then again, Venom is usually, typically at least, the type of character that's like, no, I get to kill Spider-Man, when he does hate him anyway. So I don't know, who knows? It's different for different adaptations of Venom. Now here's where shit really hits the fan. So apparently Spider-Man defeat Goblin and Venom. They convince them to go after Norman. So assumingly they all talk and realize maybe Norman had something to do with this entire shit with Goblin, Miles becoming Spider-Man, even though like that wasn't intentional on Norman's part, the whole Venom thing. And as well, I almost forgot, Norman did create Mr. Negative, and apparently, heavy on the apparently, Norman kills Harry with an advanced Green Goblin suit and forces the symbiote off Eddie, getting the symbiote inside of a container, but it ends up falling off a roof with Eddie proceeding to dive for it. Everyone looks over the edge, and neither the symbiote or Eddie are seen. And apparently, by the end of the game, Peter proposes to MJ. That's a lot of shit, okay? Damn, I don't know where to start. Okay, so like Peter proposing to MJ, that's cool. I think that should totally happen, and I'm fine with that. Assumingly, hopefully she'll move in with him too, because in the comic he wants her to move in with him, but she wants to stay in the city for her job, I think. So I don't know, we'll see on that. As far as that ending, I wouldn't mind it, to be honest. I kind of think that's cool and good, especially like Miles and Peter fighting Venom and Goblin, bro. That would be so fucking cool. And the thing is, like, if this is true, like, it wouldn't be Green Goblin, it would be like probably Hobgoblin, or like just a goblin. It wouldn't be Norman Green Goblin, it would be Harry Green Goblin. So then we have a chance to actually still go against Norman as the Green Goblin in the future, you know what I mean? Now, some people may question, why would Norman do anything to cure his son to then just kill him? And I kind of agree, but then I thought about it, like, maybe it's a thing of like, you know, once Norman sees Harry is weak and couldn't do Norman's dirty work for him after, you know, he assumingly takes the Green Goblin serum or whatever, he thinks, well, he's of no use, he's a failure, fuck him. Like, if you couldn't do that, then
you a bitch. You know why you a bitch? Cause I said so. You just a bitchy bitch. You a bitch McBitcherson. You a bitch McBitch. I go to McDonald's and get a McBitch because you a bitch. Bitch.
And kills him. But I don't know. I really wonder if this is true. Like, if we fight Venom and Green Goblin, that would be so fucking sick. I think at least, like, wow. And something I just thought of actually is like, Brian Intihar has kind of stressed that like Marvel Spider-Man 2 is named like Spider-Man 2 because there's two Spider-Man, two protagonists. What if there's two main antagonists by the end, that being Venom and Green Goblin Harry, or Hobgoblin if that happens? Maybe that's a reach. I'll say it. That's totally me reaching for the sky. I will gladly admit that. All right, but yeah, that is the story trailer compared to the plot leak of Marvel Spider-Man 2. What do you think? Do you think any of it is true or adds up so far? In my opinion, I think most of it adds up so far. Like, probably almost the whole part 1 video pretty much seemed to add it up so far. I still think Eddie's Venom. We'll see. There are definitely some questionable things when comparing the leak to the story trailer as far as like this part of the video. There's some questionable stuff in this part of the video, but everything else we have in front of us with like part 1 and stuff, that definitely seems to add up. Again, mainly like the ending is the most questionable aspect. Everything else seems to line up for me, at least. But yeah, again, what do you think of that? Make sure to comment your opinion down below so I can discuss all of that with you in the comment section. Thank you for taking time out of your day to click on this video. If you are new to the channel, I cover Spider-Man related scoops, rumors, leaks, confirmations for the games, movies, TV shows, and I try to upload as much as I can. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. If you want more of this type of content, leave a like on the video. Don't forget to check out my latest video on the left if you haven't already. I hope you ever had a good day and that you enjoyed the video. Until next time.